Welcome back to Mr. Groundhair's Adventures, everyone. It's late November now. It's been several weeks since I've checked my trail cameras. So last weekend, I went out and swapped out the memory cards in all of my remote cameras. I've now had the opportunity to review and edited all the videos, and I've compiled them into the most interesting clips into this video. Thanks for taking the time to join me and seeing what wildlife has ventured past my cameras lately. Here we start out with a young doe kind of feeding around in the food plot, and just a little bit another doe comes in with her. Could very well be the doe and a yearling, because it's quite a young doe on the left side there. And I make my rounds to, actually I was over working in the food plot and come by the camera and decided not to pull the cards out because they'd only been in there for just a few days. But this is what I travel in now. I used to have an ATV, and now I've moved up to a UTV. And here we have two does again, probably the same pair that we just saw previously. Now we've got two sow pigs in there. These are wild pigs, and by looking at the shape of the belly on them, I suspect they're probably going to have some litters here not too far down the road. Could be a matter of weeks even. And I'll bet before the end of the year I'll be seeing these with some little ones running behind them. Fortunately, they're not doing a lot of damage in the food plot, just chewing on grass. This appears to be a one of the 6 points that have been periodically showing up. Still a young deer, got a little bit to grow yet. Now this next clip is really interesting, because here we have a doe. Well, I'm sorry, we got this really nice 6-point buck. And he's looking at something. He sees something down the other end of that food plot. And he decides to go down and get a little closer look. And just a few minutes later, apparently this is what he was looking at, because there comes a mama and a little spotted fawn. Now, this is quite unusual in a way, to see a spotted fawn this late in the year. I can't imagine that little fawn is more than a couple of months old. The typical rut in Florida in this area is approximately the second week in October. But the looks of that spotted fawn, I would have to say that doe was bred this year. So she was bred really, really late. Now here we see a young buck, barely, Unfortunately, it got out of a little bit of the range of the camera. I'm about ready to cut the clip off when it stopped, and I can see it turning and looking. I can see the reflection in the eyes, and it sees something. It's watching something. So I waited, and here comes a bigger bug. The size of that rack on there looks like it could be ready to be harvested. Unfortunately, I didn't get a better look at it to see how many points it had. It looks quite tall, but I can't tell whether it's outside its ears. Now here's this young spotted fawn again. She's kind of alone right now, but as you'll see in a minute, the mother isn't very far behind her. Doesn't let the little baby get too far out of her sight. He's still kind of exploring and checking things out. And there's Mama. She's following up. Here's a little buck in the morning, and here's that little spotted fawn and the mom again. It's early in the morning. Well, actually, it's almost midday. $11:28 in the morning. And here we got a lone doe. She's a little spooky. Now here we are at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I see a pair of eyes show up. So I wait to see what it is. Hard to tell right now, but as it gets close, then I can see that's a Florida coyote. And she's on the prowl. Looking for a meal. Okay, she starts to leave. Hey, wait a minute. Not in my food plot. Yeah, wipe your feet. There you go. And interesting, he scratches with 2 feet at the same time. And away she goes. This is a real young spike buck. You can just barely see that left antler. Actually, it looks a little bit deformed. That's interesting. Now here we got some turkeys coming in. These are Florida Osceola turkeys. And you see 7 of them there. And you see the one with the beard in it. Those are all hens. Now those 2 right in the center there. See the one's got a beard? That's actually a bearded hen. It's not a gobbler. Or a tom, as some people call them, or a male turkey. Those are all females. And you are allowed to harvest a bearded turkey. Generally, all the beards are on the males, but in this case, a female has one, and you would be allowed to harvest her. Now this next clip is a night clip, and I didn't get a good look, but it appears to be one of the 6 points right next to the camera. In fact, it comes up and is sniffing on the camera. There we got that lone doe again. Here we got one of those 6 points. Is back again. 7 o'clock in the evening. Something spooked him. Now here's Mama with her little spotted fawn back again. Now here's a spike again. Almost looks like it has a white face, but I can't tell if it's that or it's been raining and maybe his forehead is wet and just the way the light reflected off it. You can just barely see 2 little spikes poking out of his forehead. He sees or hears something, so he's being very cautious. Now here we have 2 doe. It doesn't appear to be the spotted fawn, but a doe and a young one. And here we got something following him in. And as he gets a lot closer, if you look careful, he does have 8 points on him. It's hard to tell how old he is, but I would guess probably 3.5 years old. But he's following that doe. He's checking her out. And here we got another coyote. Could be the same one or could be a different one. We got quite a few around that area. Now this is on another camera in a completely different location. Just had this one photo, and that appeared to be maybe an 8 point. Can't see the brow tines, but that's the only picture I had of it. Now we're in a different location. This appears to be a 4 point, and we'll see several of them in this area. Now this next clip, we've got a couple turkeys in there, and I've tried to get the volume up higher so you can actually hear them talking to each other, kind of purring and what they call it. They disappear, then they come back, and then there's I believe this is the third one shows up. And those are hen turkeys again. There comes the third one. And here we've got a couple of 4 points again. Probably the one we saw earlier, then another one. And here we got a single 4 point again. sees that camera, it looks like. And we see a turkey coming up in the background there. You may hear some noise in the background, and there could be something behind the camera. There, we've got our 2 4-points again. Hopefully they'll still be around in a couple of years. And we got a single 4-point. He gets a little spooked about something. Whether you smell something. But he comes back. I suspect, as we'll see in the next clip, pigs have been in there in that little dark spot right in front of the camera. And kind of rooting around with their nose, and they may have left their scent there, and that's what the deer picked up on. There he's back again. Now here we got 4 wild pigs in there. See the sow. Little boar, another sow there. You see how they're rooting around with their noses. They may have heard or smelled of bugs or something in the ground. Here we got, you'll find out towards the end of this clip, is a button buck, a real young one, and kind of does a loop and comes back around right past the camera, and then you can see the little bumps just starting to protrude out of his forehead. And I think there's a possibility another deer in the brush right behind the camera that doesn't come out into view. Here it comes. Now you can see his forehead. There it is. Now here we got a bunch of Jake turkeys. These are real young males. I couldn't tell you the age, but like that one with that beard, probably 4.5 inch beard. He could legally take them. A lot of people let them grow older, let the beards get longer. Now this last one, you can just barely get a glimpse of it. Actually, it's got 2 beards on it. They call it double bearded turkey. Well, that rounds up all the video clips I've gotten on this trip. I hope you enjoyed watching them. If you have, give me a thumbs up, press the like button, and subscribe for more.